Guys, I've got something cool to tell you about. As an engineering leader, a manager, and an engineer myself, I'm geeking out over a new product I'm just discovering that helps me with each of these points of view. The great team at SEMA, builders of the SEMA Intelligence Platform, have been working on what they call the Product Roadmap Radar. It's this integrated solution that uses generative AI to observe your code and Jira in order to summarize, synthesize, and make it easier to deliver your roadmap. It not only helps keep your roadmap on track, but it helps reduce the time engineers spend in meetings. Cue all the engineers clapping. The Product Roadmap Radar is extremely easy to set up. This only takes about 5 minutes. Just enable your integrations and let AI do all the mapping for you. My favorite part? I'm glad you asked. The radar doesn't just tell you about your roadmap. It suggests changes you need to make based on the code that's been written and the stories that have been addressed. No commenting, no special setup, all generative AI. It gives you an outside view of your roadmap based on the code and projects a target completion date based on outstanding work and activity. Again, no comments, no special setup. It even detects shadow work when development is being done but Jira isn't being updated. I'm pretty jazzed about it, and I think you will be too. Take a second to watch a short but awesome demo video. Go to codestory.co/PRR to watch it today. You'll like what you see. This episode is sponsored by Postman. Postman is the world's leading API platform, trusted by 98% of the Fortune 500 and over 40 million developers. Tap into APIs from 18,000 plus companies to power agents that make smarter decisions. Learn more at postman.com/podcast/codestory. This message is sponsored by Melee Search. Today, search isn't just a feature, it's a cornerstone. And Melee Search gives your users the experience they need with lightning-fast performance, full-text search, AI usage, and multimodal capabilities. Melee Search delivers relevant results in less than the blink of an eye. Use the promo code CODESTORY at checkout to get 2 months free at meleesearch.com. That's MEILI search.com.
About 6 months in, we had realized that, look, landing pages are going to change. There's obviously the AI implications of generative AI, creating landing pages on the fly, being able to do auto optimization. We decided that we didn't just want to be a landing page company, but what is the problem that we really solve, which is that optimization issue. We also saw what big companies were able to do with all of this data that they have access to that small businesses often don't. And so one of the first things that we took on was building what we call audience insights. My name is Michael Sacca. I am the CEO at Leadpages.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries.
Spent 6 months moonlighting.
There's nothing on the back end.
Who share what it takes to change an industry.
I don't exactly know what to do next.
Took many goes to get right.
Who built the teams that have their back.
A company is its people.
The teams help each other achieve more.
I was proud of our team.
Keeping scalability top of mind.
All that infrastructure was
Yes, we've been fighting it as we grow.
Total waste of time. The stories you don't read in the headlines.
It's not an easy thing to achieve, mind
Took
you.
it off the shelf and dusted it off and tried it again.
To ride the ups and downs of the startup life.
You need to really want it. It's not just about technology.
All this and more on Code Story.
I'm your host, Noah Laupart, and today how Michael Sacca is driving the ship at Leadpages so that you can powerfully convert your leads to customers. This episode is brought to you by Paddle. Don't settle for less when you can have more, MOR, with Paddle, your merchant of record. Eliminate the headaches of payments, grow your revenue everywhere, and focus on what you do best, building your product. Get more revenue with less hassle at paddle.com. This episode is brought to you by PropelOff. People take authentication for granted, but it's more than how customers log into your product. It's how you manage your relationship with your users. The easiest way to make authentication your advantage is to use PropelOff. PropelOff is more than just functional. It's powerful. With tools like Managed UIs, Enterprise SSO, robust user management features, and actionable insights, PropelOff adapts as your product grows. And the best part? When off is effortless, your team can focus on scaling, not troubleshooting. That means more releases, happier customers, and more growth for your business. Save dev time, win over your customers, and propel your business forward with PropelOff. Check them out at propelauth.com. That's PROPELAUTH.com. Michael Sacca didn't start out coding. He started out as a musician. In college, he studied music business and wanted to go into that world. Eventually, he figured out that people didn't care that you had a music business degree and ended up waiting tables for a few years. After watching his roommate write software and get paid well to do it, he decided to learn to code himself. Outside of tech, he lives in Vancouver with his wife and 2 kids, coaching soccer and flag football. He mentioned it can be a pain to go out to eat with him because he has celiac and avoids gluten. Prior to his current role, Michael was the chief product officer at Dribbble. After he left that company and dabbled in some other ventures, he was approached about a CEO role at a well-known darling company in Minneapolis. This is Michael's creation story at Leadpages.
So Leadpages it's a MarTech company. So we are a landing page builder that's really focused on helping companies iterate on their paid ad campaigns. So how do we optimize the performance of our paid ad campaigns? So often we focus on Google or Meta, but we're the place where your customer lands. And so we make it easy for marketing teams to experiment with their messaging, iterate without having to use any engineering resources, and then A/B test and optimize their way into better campaign performance. So I started about a year ago. And before this, I was the chief product officer at Dribbble. And I took a year off. I did a startup in the product education space. And in that time, the team at Redbrick reached out. They were looking for a CEO to take over Leadpages. And Leadpages, in my world, I came up in kind of the bootstrap space. And while Leadpages wasn't bootstrapped, it was the darling that came out of Minneapolis. So I had followed along with the Leadpages journey for a while and always had great respect for the brand. So it was an opportunity I didn't feel like I could really pass up on. And when I started about a year ago, we were really focused on the landing page, and we had some pretty big issues, tech debt issues, probably cultural issues that we were facing. And so this last year has really been a revamp of the product, the culture, the focus, so that we can be prepared for the next 10 years. Because I think landing pages over the last 10 years have changed dramatically, and there's so many more solutions today. And so we're still trying to stay true to that original mission of helping marketing teams. But it looks different today than it did 11 years ago. And that's what we're in the middle of, that transition right now.
Let's dive into what you would consider, the MVP for your start at Leadpages, right? So, I talked about MVP, minimum viable product for product building, but as you started the company, I hear you saying you got cultural changes, tech debt to take care of, and sort of a transformation going on. What was the first project or the first initiative that you approached at Leadpages? And, how long did it take you to get it started? And what sort of, tools or frameworks or things you were using to help you go attack it?
There's actually a couple. I'll focus on one. About 6 months in, we had realized that, landing pages are going to change. There's obviously the AI implications of generative AI, creating landing pages on the fly, being able to do auto optimization. And we decided that we didn't just want to be a landing page company, but what is the problem that we really solve, which is that optimization issue. We also saw what big companies were able to do with all of this data that they have access to that small businesses often don't. And so one of the first things that we took on was building what we call audience insights. And it's the ability for customers to be able to identify anonymous traffic that visits their site. Why would this be necessary? What we want to be able to do is show customers who's visiting and who they are, right? So there's about 60 different demographic and firmographic data points that we can get from an anonymous visit. And if we can tell customers, hey, here's who's visiting your page, but maybe they're not converting over. Maybe your messaging's off. Maybe there's things that about this certain persona that you're not speaking to, a problem that they have that they're seeking a solution to, but maybe you're not telling them that you can solve it. And so what we took on was, how do we start to expose this information so that we're not just a landing page, but we're actually starting to become a conversion rate optimization tool and an intelligent tool that our customers can use to get insights to actually improve the performance of their landing pages, or maybe create more landing pages because one generic landing page just isn't enough. And we see that all the time in marketing. And so that was one of the early projects that we took on. And then we started to experiment with things like conversational landing pages and building chatbots that were driven to conversion. So how do we help customers better collect leads? And all of this was really in the name of what a landing page is going to look like in 5 years, and how do we start to move the company to satisfy those needs? Because a landing page, we don't believe, is going to be just a landing page in the next couple of years, given all of the technological advancements that are ahead of us.
Guys, I've got something cool to tell you about. As an engineering leader, a manager, and an engineer myself, I'm geeking out over a new product I'm just discovering that helps me with each of these points of view. The great team at SEMA, builders of the SEMA intelligence platform, have been working on what they call the Product Roadmap Radar. It's this integrated solution that uses generative AI to observe your code and Jira in order to summarize, synthesize, and make it easier to deliver your roadmap. It not only helps keep your roadmap on track, but it helps reduce the time engineers spend in meetings. Cue all the engineers clapping. The Product Roadmap Radar is extremely easy to set up. This only takes about 5 minutes. Just enable your integrations and let AI do all the mapping for you. My favorite part? I'm glad you asked. The radar doesn't just tell you about your roadmap. It suggests changes you need to make based on the code that's been written and the stories that have been addressed. No commenting, no special setup, all generative AI. It gives you an outside view of your roadmap based on the code and projects a target completion date based on outstanding work and activity. Again, no comments, no special setup. It even detects shadow work when development is being done but Jira isn't being updated. I'm pretty jazzed about it, and I think you will be too. Take a second to watch a short but awesome demo video. Go to codestory.co/PRR to watch it today. You'll like what you see. This episode is brought to you by Paddle. As a startup, you face unique challenges to stay competitive. You and your team need to stay focused on your product, not your payments. You need to do more, MOR, and DIY less. With Paddle. Paddle is your merchant of record, becoming the seller of record for your SaaS transactions, enabling your team to focus on what's important, your product. Paddle handles all payment management across multiple gateways and methods, taking ownership of tax liability while remaining compliant with regulations across all markets. The platform handles all aspects of SaaS billing models, upgrades, add-on, trials, and more. Let's look at the results. MOR revenue optimization is built into Paddle and accounts for up to 16% higher conversion rates, reduced payment failures, localized pricing, and churn prevention, recovering 40% of cancellations. Their developer-friendly tools are API first with comprehensive documentation, removing the burden from your engineers. With Paddle as your merchant of record, you'll generate more revenue, find and keep more customers, grow faster, and stay compliant everywhere. So what are you waiting for? Get more revenue with less hassle at paddle.com. This episode is sponsored by Mailtrap, an email platform developers love. Try for free at mailtrap.io. That's mailtrap.io. This episode is sponsored by Postman. APIs are the foundation of reliable AI, and reliable APIs start with Postman. Trusted by 98% of the Fortune 500, Postman is the platform that helps over 40 million developers build and scale the APIs behind their most critical business workflows. With Postman, teams get centralized access to the latest LLMs and APIs, MCP support, and no-code workflows, all in one platform. Quickly integrate critical tools and build multi-step agents without writing a single line of code. Start building smarter, more reliable agents today. Visit postman.com/podcast/codestory to learn more. That's postman.com/podcast/codestory. This message is sponsored by .tech Domains. Picture this. You dig deep and think of an amazing name for your tech startup, spending months to perfect it. And then you settle for a cluttered .com domain with fillers and added words. Yeah, it's really disappointing. That is, unless you get a clean, sharp, and memorable .tech domain. .tech signals loud and clear that tech is at your startup's core. A .tech domain shows your focus and intent, building credibility with VCs and customers, and anyone who sees it knows instantly this is a tech startup. If you are building a tech startup, you want a .tech domain, and that's because it just makes sense. And if I were you, I'd skip the workaround domains and go straight for the loudest signal. Head over to get.tech/codestory or a domain registrar like GoDaddy or Namecheap and grab the perfect .tech domain today. That's get.tech/codestory. Then from that point, you get that initiative set up, you're running on it, you're getting some traction and some success. How did you progress that or move to the next one or the multiple ones that you had started up and then move on to the next ones? And I'm curious about, how you went about deciding what was the next most important thing to do or to address to really change that culture, take care of the tech deck and all the things.
Audience insights doesn't mean too much to most customers. So where we started was within our own customer base and a little bit of external paid advertising and really iterating on the messaging. So the first thing we wanted to be able to do is get an email open or a click, because then we knew that there was something in that message that resonated with our users. And we were trying to explain to them something that wasn't readily familiar to them. Identifying anonymous traffic, or was it audience insights, or was it verify anonymous web visitors? We weren't sure what the verbiage is that would resonate. And so we started testing just how do we get an open, and then how do we get a click, and then how do we get a free trial? And that's really where we started. And we realized that the more blunt we were with what we were doing, the easier it was for our audience to understand. We launched lead enrichment as an early phase of this. And we were calling it like lead insights. And we quickly realized that no one understood what that meant. And so the closer we got down to the kind of root of what we were doing, which was giving them more information about each customer that came in, it was easier for them to understand, easier for them to relate, and easier for them to say yes. So we started with a small beta group, just giving the product out for free until we were able to build the internal conviction, really, that we could move forward and that we had enough to start to put a price point on it and that we had enough value for customers to pay for it.
As you have been at Leadpages over the last year, changing culture and how you do things, that sometimes can lead to building new teams or adding new organizations. So how did you go about that? And in general, kind of how do you go about that at Leadpages? And what do you look for in those people to indicate that they're the winning horses to join you?
I think every team needs something different. So I'll just preface with that. Every team that I've built has always been a slightly different structure based on what the company needs, but also based on the people that are at the organization. But one thing that I realized when I got to Leadpages was we were really siloed. We weren't talking to each other. And product didn't really know what marketing was doing. Marketing didn't really know what engineering was doing. And there was a lot of frustration simply because information wasn't properly flowing around the organization. And so we took the organizational structure and we started to play with it a bit. And one of the things that I learned at Dribbble was having ownership is one of the most powerful things that we can create as leaders. And having a singular ownership gives people pride in their work. And that was one of the problems that we had was I asked who owns onboarding, and people owned pieces of onboarding, but no one actually owned the performance of onboarding at Leadpages. And so we broke down the team. Marketing owned traffic and acquisition. We broke out a RevOps team that owned conversion, and we had product owning retention. And what that did was give a very clear ownership across the full funnel. And we put a growth PM and a PMM on the RevOps team, which is not your typical structure, but it gave that team all the resources they need to actually make a difference. So they weren't going to other departments and asking for help or asking for assistance. Within that department, they had everything they needed to affect conversion, including access to engineering resources. And what we saw was information started to flow better between, and there was less finger pointing across the organization of, this didn't work because they didn't do their job. Everyone had their kind of mandate and their mission, and they were able to affect that end goal, which I found really powerful. And once we saw that information start to flow, we could identify who those folks were. What I really look for is people that thrive on both growth, but also ownership. When you get that combination, it can be really powerful. And it doesn't always matter how far along they are in their career. If they're driven by having an impact, those are the folks that I usually try to pull out and give that autonomy to, because that it's a self-driven kind of mission rather than one that I need to constantly push for.
This episode is brought to you by PropelOff. People take authentication for granted, but it's more than how customers log into your product. It's how you manage your relationship with your users. The easiest way to make authentication your advantage is to use PropelOff. PropelOff is more than just functional. It's powerful. With tools like Managed UIs, Enterprise SSO, robust user management features, and actionable insights, PropelOff adapts as your product grows. And the best part? When auth is effortless, your team can focus on scaling, not troubleshooting. That means more releases, happier customers, and more growth for your business. Save dev time, win over your customers, and propel your business forward with PropelOff. Check them out at propeloff.com. That's PROPELAUTH.com. This episode is sponsored by MailySearch. In today's digital landscape, search isn't just a feature, it's a cornerstone. And you need a user experience that drives customer satisfaction. You need MailySearch. MailySearch is lightning fast performance, returning answers in less than 50 milliseconds. Yeah, you heard that right. Faster than the blink of an eye. The open source AI search engine is plug and play, so you can get up and running in minutes with smart presets, allowing you to start searching through your data with zero configuration. MailySearch utilizes advanced full-text search and AI, ensuring your results are ultra-relevant with semantic depth. It's multimodal, supporting images, videos, and audio, along with being federated, i.e. searching across multiple data sources. And it's developer-friendly. Whether you're building a content-rich website or enterprise application, MailySearch delivers the experience your users expect and deserve. For a limited time, CodeStory users can get 2 months free. Use the promo code CODESTORY, all one word, at checkout. Just go to MailySearch.com and get started today. That's MEILI search.com. Let's flip to scalability, and this will be interesting because there's technological scalability, yes, but there's also people and team and process and definitely with culture change in a company, you gotta consider that. So how has scale factored into your approaches, and has there been interesting areas where you've had to fight it as you've grown?
One thing that I've found is that process generally fails first when we're looking at scale. And I think we often set processes based on previous failures. And I think it's the wrong way to approach the problem. Because then as you scale, a lot of your inefficiencies come from this is the process that we follow, but the process needs to change as you grow. And what we've really tried to do, especially with our product and engineering teams, is actually reduce the process down to the simplest form. So we don't run Agile or Waterfall or Scrum. We actually just use a milestone system. And what it allows the team to do is be self-accountable to each task that they have. So everyone doing the task decides how long that task will take. Those tasks are wrapped up into milestones. Milestones are wrapped up into an end date. And before the project starts, we set the end date for that project. And then every delay that we have, we move the dates of all the future milestones, including the end date. And it creates this system of self-accountability where things happen. We get called in to help out others. We're off sick. We have vacation. and allows us to take all those human elements into consideration and evaluate the system as we go. Where are we inefficient? Why are we behind schedule? But it doesn't have all the ceremonies that we get with Scrum or Agile. And it has a bit more of the personal accountability than you'll get with a waterfall. And I found that people are more accountable to their own deadlines than they are to my deadlines. But when they set their own deadline, now they're accountable to themselves. So there's really no one else to blame. And it's a no-fault system, so we don't really care. We expect the milestones to move. But within that, we set up this system of personal accountability, and we try to roll that out across the org the best we can. But between product and engineering, I find that's the strongest example. And I think when people own their work and they're accountable to themselves is when we see the best output.
So as you step out on the balcony, look across all that you've built, perhaps this year at Leadpages or even across your career, what are you most proud of?
There's been a lot. The piece that I'm most proud of is the teams that I've built. But if you look at the product itself, there's something about seeing your own ideas come to life. And in that time between Dribbble and Leadpages, I built Gigantic, and it was a product education platform. And we figured out how to both consult to raise our own money and build an incredibly high quality education system and videos where we collaborated with some incredible people. And we didn't really have anything to offer them, but they believed in us. And so we had like Ben Foster, who is the CPO at Whoop, teach an entire course. We flew out to LA and filmed the whole thing. We interviewed the CEO at Twitter Canada and the CMO at Snap. And so just having people believe in your vision, even when you have nothing else to give, was such an incredible moment. And even though the company didn't work out, I'm still proud of the work we were able to do as a small team of 3 people and the people that we were able to bring along for that journey.
Let's flip the script a little bit. Either at Leadpages or, across your career, tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
Some of these decisions where there is no winning. Whatever you do, someone's going to be unhappy. And what came to mind was this really big decision at Dribbble, where as the chief product officer, I advocated to remove the invite system. And if you're familiar with Dribbble, it's a big design community that started as an invite only. And that was really the kind of driving factor in both its limiting growth. It limited its growth, but it also created this mystique that when you got an invite to Dribbble, you had made it as a designer. And we had reached this point where the invite system wasn't really working, didn't have the same cachet, but there was a cohort of people who had earned their invite over time, who it still really mattered. And so for the business to grow, we needed to get rid of it. But there was always going to be someone who was going to be disappointed. And so we did end up removing the invite system, which is a major event in that company's history. But still to this day, I see tweets or X's about that was like the moment when people lost faith in the platform. But now the platform's doing great. They seem to be figuring out growth and global scalability. But it's still a moment where some of those early adopters will always be unhappy with that decision. Was it a mistake? I don't know. But was it a decision where there really was no winner, where we were going to have the company continue to suffer? Or do we disappoint folks that kind of drove the growth of it? It was a really hard one to make. And to this day, I wonder what would happen if we had kept it around.
So you're a year in at Leadpages, you're doing great things, you're changing the culture. Tell me what the future looks like for the company, the product, and for your team.
Hopefully much different from where we are today. What we want to do is really be a conversion rate optimization solution. So we want to be able to provide a lot more data, a lot more insights, and eventually be able to do a lot of the work for them. Conversion rate work on landing pages is incredibly manual today. So I think in the very near future, we'll actually be able to automate a lot of that work that marketing teams spend doing running A/B tests or multivariate tests. And I'm excited for that. because I think it really changes the trajectory of who we are and where we sit in the market. For the team, we continue to grow. We acquired a company, Glorify, this year. They're a sign asset builder, and we see the ability to programmatically generate your ad campaigns or your social ads alongside your landing page so that everything starts to match. So we're really excited about that. And we're becoming more of a global company. We were founded in Minneapolis. Minneapolis is still the heart, but we have a growing team in Canada. We now have teammates in the UK and Italy and Pakistan. I'm excited for where we can take it and for the expansion of the company itself.
Michael, let's switch to you. Who influences the way that you work? Name a person or many persons or something you look up to and why.
I was at Dribbble for 7 years, and our CEO there, he had just gotten hired, Sacca. He acquired Crew. So I was at Crew, which is the parent company of Unsplash. I was the president there, and we were breaking up Crew, which was a freelance jobs platform, basically. So we took in freelance work and matched it with freelancers. And obviously Unsplash, free photo platform, was taking off. And so we decided, okay, we got to split these two things up. And my job was to sell Crew to Dribbble. And Zach was the one that took a chance and made the deal happen. And so he bought Crew, brought it under Dribbble. And he really, for the 7 years I was there, I ran our marketing team, I ran our sales team, I ran our data team at one point, and eventually moved over and ran the product team. But he was the one that he believed in me. He always gave me challenging opportunities. And he taught me a lot of what I take into the leadership today. And it's a blend of how do we move at pace, right? But how do we move with people first in mind? And it's a tough balance to keep, but he did it so gracefully. And he's the one that certainly had a huge impact on my career, and being able to work under his leadership has really allowed me to do what I do today.
Okay, Michael, last question. So you're getting on a plane and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world, and can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit in several different facets and several different roles?
Don't get too caught up in your first idea and be open to the changes. I never would have imagined where my career went. If I was at Crew, we sold it to Dribbble. Crew, we ended up shutting Crew down, and I helped to build the Dribbble org. Had I gotten so hardened that Crew was the only thing I could do, or Gigantic was the only thing I could do, then your career doesn't always progress. And it doesn't always progress linearly either. I was running an agency before I got hired at Crew, and the work was very different. I was doing front-end development, design, and then at Crew, I was running partnerships. So I don't think there's a linear path. And I don't think that a founder always has to stay a founder. I think it's really great to get experience everywhere you go. And be open to selling your company or taking a job if it's not working out. And you can always come back and do it again. It feels short, but the road is long. And I would just say be open to different opportunities, not just the one that you're set. I think so often we get the advice that you have to be willing to basically sacrifice your entire life for a startup. That's a venture capital a mantra. I don't think that serves the human the best. So be open to the journey.
Couldn't agree more. That's fantastic advice. Well, Michael, thank you for being on the show today, and thank you for telling your creation story at Leadpages.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Labhart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
This is a call to the leaders who want to redefine their impact. Tackle our world's greatest challenges with a powerful network of global business leaders at MIT Sloan School of Management.
Hey, Spike, got everything you need to cross the Bay Bridge and head to the beach?
Check!
Cool, let's hit the road.
No, check, Otis.
Check what? What's with this check?
Check Bay Bridge traffic by calling Baseband first.
Ah, you want to know before we go.
Check.
Always check before driving to and from the beach. Go to baybridge.com or call 1-877-BASEBAND for traffic updates. That's baybridge.com or 1-877-229-7726. No, then go.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.